Hello, and welcome to another new academic year at Kutztown University. As I begin my second year as the university's Chief Financial Officer, I am pleased to accept the additional responsibility of leading our stellar facilities organization. Our facilities staff continues to do amazing work during an unprecedented time with many new challenges. I am proud to represent them as the new Vice President of Finance and Facilities. I would also like to thank Sharon Pikus for her leadership over the past year. She has been an invaluable resource and has ensured a smooth transition of responsibilities. My remarks for today will be focused on the financial state of the university. I aim to provide a comprehensive update, including our fiscal year 2019-20 financial results, our fiscal year 2020-21 approved budget, and an update on the financial sustainability planning process. Fiscal year 2019-20 brought KU some significant challenges, with the COVID-19 pandemic at the top of the list. As we transitioned face-to-face classes to an online environment back in March, we also asked students to move off campus and ceased operation of many auxiliary services. This change in operations led to the decision to refund our students 50% of their auxiliary fees, or $9.4 million. The financial impact of this substantial refund was offset by $3.7 million in CARES Act funding specifically intended to help the institution. We were also able to realize significant savings on our utility costs while cutting back on non-essential spending and curtailing contracts with our vendors who provide food services and shuttle bus transportation on campus. On the E&G side, we have received $2.5 million in Title V federal appropriations to help cover technology-related expenses that were incurred to move to an online teaching environment, as well as to cover expenses directly related to mitigation, including cleaning of buildings, PPE supplies, signage, and plexiglass barriers. Much work was done, and this funding has certainly helped. The university also took firm action to help limit expenses and ensure positive financial results. We continued our hiring freeze for all vacant staff positions, and we implemented a spending freeze to limit all non-essential spending of departmental budgets over the final few months of the fiscal year. These actions paid off. For the first time in over 5 years, our E&G revenues exceeded our expenses. Our unrestricted net assets are up, and our cash balances increased by $2 million. This was a huge accomplishment, and we all played a role in making it happen. We plan to continue the momentum as we begin the 2020-21 academic year. The challenge that we once again face are declining revenues. We had hoped for increases to the tuition rate and state appropriation, but both were held flat for this year. We continued to drop in overall enrollment, even though our new student numbers are on the rise. The projected decline in enrollment of 3% equates to $2.75 million in less revenue. On the expenses side, we were facing additional challenges due to annual pay increases of 2.5%, or roughly $2.1 million. Increases to our annual insurance premiums, additional investment in student aid, and the clear need to fund deferred maintenance at previous levels. This left us with a budget shortfall of approximately $6.7 million. As discussed in previous budget presentations, we are committed to balancing our annual budget without the need of cash reserves or one-time funds. It has been made abundantly clear by Middle States, the state system, and our own Council of Trustees that our annual revenues should match our annual expenses. No exceptions. Based on that directive, the President's Cabinet worked together to bring forward an achievable strategy to balance the current year budget. This included the elimination of 20 vacant tenure-track faculty lines, the elimination of 10 vacant staff positions, significant savings from faculty retirements, less temporary faculty assignments, and a 10% reduction to department operating budgets for the second consecutive year. These cuts were not easy, but were most definitely needed to ensure a balanced budget for the third consecutive year. The total budget for fiscal year 2020-21 is nearly $3 million less than the prior year. This drop is primarily driven by the 3% projected decline in enrollment. With revenues down, we have continued our dedicated efforts to right-size our expenses. As shown on the slide, nearly 75% of our budget is dedicated to personnel expenses, and despite annual pay increases, we have reduced that budget line significantly through position eliminations. With those reductions in place, we have a balanced budget that was approved by the Council of Trustees in June. The budget will be further reviewed and revised after the fall freeze date when we have the final enrollment numbers. In conjunction with enrollment, we are following some other factors that may lead to position cuts across campus. These factors, which are primarily out of our control, include a major cut in state funding, a directive from the state system to return to our student to faculty ratio levels from fiscal year 2010-11, and further impact of the COVID-19 pandemic. We will continue to monitor these four crucial factors and adjust our plans as needed. My final update is regarding the financial sustainability planning process that began about a year ago. The process was rolled out by the state system in order to more closely monitor the financial results of the 14 schools across the system. It is based on performance across a set of financial indicators over the most recent 3 to 5 years. Because of KU's prior use of cash reserves to balance the E&G budget and to fund auxiliary building renovations, we were placed in Sustainability Plan 2. As a result, we needed to prepare a financial plan and supporting narrative back in January. This plan, along with the goal alignment workbook, was shared widely across campus and posted on the KU website. This plan was slightly tweaked in June based on new information and submitted as version 2, still essentially a draft document. In September, KU will submit version 3, which is now being called the Comprehensive Planning Process. This submission combines the sustainability plan, goal alignment workbook, and annual budget report submission all into one document. We have received specific direction and guidelines on how to complete the document, as well as what revenue assumptions should be used for tuition and appropriation. We have now proven that we can balance our budget on an annual basis without drawing down our reserves. Unfortunately, the biggest challenge at this point is the clear directive from the Chancellor to once again achieve our student to faculty ratio levels of 20.4 from fiscal year 2010-11. We currently stand at 16.7, and we have begun the process with the elimination of many vacant tenure track lines and the reduction of temporary faculty assignments for the upcoming year. Our version 2 plan even had us on track to achieving a ratio of 18.1 in fiscal year 2021-22. In order to hit the higher ratio in version 3, we will need to revise our plans and work together to ensure that any adjustments do not adversely impact our recent success and positive momentum. I am confident that working together, we can develop a plan that makes sense for Kutztown University. As enrollment is finalized in September, we may need to revise the E&G budget to account for any significant changes. Any necessary revisions to the budget will need to be approved by the Council of Trustees in October. Finally, the importance of improving our financial ratios has never been as crucial as it is now. Recent announcements of plans to integrate schools across the state system have mainly been based on enrollment declines and questions around financial sustainability. We need to continue to make the difficult decisions now so that we are allowed to continue making our own decisions moving forward. Thank you once again for a very successful 2019-20. Let's keep up the hard work and continue to make Kutztown University a place to be proud of. Have a great fall semester.